Hey, hey, right on time. It's Penny with 40 Something and Fabulous for all my YouTube users, and it's Facebook Live for my personal friends and family. Hope everybody's doing good. Today is my 50th birthday. Happy birthday to me. I'm actually going to do some fun nails. I was trying to decide what color I wanted to do, and I couldn't really come up with, I don't know. I kept going back to my normal red and my French and this and that, and I thought, I do those all the time. So it occurred to me just out of the blue to actually do my tips with a color called Twilight, which you can find on my website under glitters, and the base with a pretty pink with a shimmer in it. So, and actually for my accent nail, I'm going to do a just to outline the smile line between the purple and the pink with silver, and then put a couple of cute little purple hearts or maybe pink hearts or something on either the purple part of the nail or the pink part. Say hey when you join. I can see the counter, but I can't see who's here, so just say hey when you join me. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I've actually today I'm doing a fill instead of a full set, and honestly, it's easier for me to do a full set than it is to do a fill, because with the fill, you've got to file down. Sometimes you have to file several layers off to get it thin enough so that you're not building super thick layers on top of it. So for, honestly, it's just easier to soak it off really quick, and soak off takes between 5 and 10 minutes. So it's super fast. So that also would give you a fresh full set every time you did a mani, and it's under $3 per manicure. So I mean, it's a no-brainer. But I did it just to show that you can do a fill, and mainly because I was at different places in my house, like watching TV and in the bedroom and whatnot. So I was just mindlessly filing. I had purple on my ring finger, on this ring finger, and I filed that off, and then I filed the top layer and a couple of other layers of the other nails all down so that I could do a fill. Normally I don't do fills for that reason, because it does take so much longer. I actually went in with my cuticle nippers and I nipped off anything that looked like it was lifting. So you can see it's like it's going to be like a true fill-in. Like they're all like different, jacked up. I'm going to do my right hand first. This is my right hand, even though it looks backwards for you guys. I'm going to do my right hand first, and that way you can see it start to finish. Now, I already did, like I said, I already did nip anything that was lifting, and I also filed it all down, so that I did off camera. I'm going to start as if I had just finished filing and nipping everything off and getting it all ready. And then I also scraped the invisible cuticle off, which, again, I love this curved metal cuticle pusher that we have. It's a pusher on one end, and then it's got this little sharp curved area. So I just go into my natural nail and I scrape. And I've told y'all before, the first few times I did this, or the first couple of times I did this, I thought, ooh, I'm scraping all my nail off, but you're not. It's kind of like exfoliating your nails. I like to compare it to that, because it's very similar. Once it stops flaking, you've got all the dead stuff off. So that actually helps with your product adherence. Like the dips adhere better. I went from being able to go 5 to 7 days on a set to a record 34 days with a color change in between. So technically, I mean, you could call it a fill in between, but I thought that was pretty dang good. I was very pleased with that. So for me, scraping that invisible cuticle, as we call it, away is definitely a game changer. So I highly recommend that step. Nail prep is extremely important. Nail prep is going to determine how good your manicure looks. So taking the time to do the prep is actually totally worth it. So again, I'm going to do my right hand first, like from start to finish, and then I'll do my left hand off camera. So you start with, if there's any exposed natural nail, you're going to add primer. That's step 1. Say hey when you join me. Let me know who's watching. For me, my nail beds are oily. My hair is oily as well. So if you have oily hair, you probably have oily nail beds. And I do 2 layers of primer. I'm not sure what others do, and I'm not sure what works for others. 1 might be sufficient, but I do 2 just to get that good adhesion. That helps to prevent any lifting. It dehydrates that nail bed so that the product sticks to it really well. You do not need it on false tips or any residual dip, like I have dip on my nails as well. You're not going to need primer on that part. You just need it on your natural nail. And it dries very fast, so by the time you finish your pinky and close up the bottle, you're going to be good to go and ready to start. I did not expect this to be as easy as it was. I'm not one that could ever paint my nails. I had tried in the past, you know, to paint my nails at varying times in my life, and I never was able to get a really good looking manicure. So I really didn't think this would be as easy as it is, but I love this system. I love not having to go to the salon. I love being able to do it whenever I want. I love being able to change the color as often as I want. If I decide I don't really like something or I'm tired of it, I don't have to wait till my appointment. I can do it anytime. So that's super cool. I really like the length they're getting too. So I'm going to start out with our very next step is going to be the base coat. We're going to do base coat, and then we're going to dip our nails, or I'm going to dip my nails, and then we're going to do that as many times as needed to get the thickness and the look that you want. You need at least 2 to 3 layers just for even coverage. So you want them thin. You want to do really thin layers because you want good, smooth, even coverage, and you don't want them to be super thick. That was a worry that I had, that they were going to be super thick, but you can actually control that, and you learn those kind of things as you go. So I'm going to apply my base coat. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the tips in the color called Twilight, and I'm going to pour over this pink, which it's actually several pinks combined together. It's Tickle Me Pink, Pixie Dust, and Sin Nudes all blended together. It's got a pretty shimmer to it. I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but it's got a very pretty shimmer. So I'm actually going to, I've got my little nail swatch I'm going to use as a dipper, as a spoon. And I'm going to, and I've already pushed my cuticles back, removed the invisible cuticle, and applied the nail primer. So here I go with base coat. I'm just going to do a very thin layer of base coat. And you're just going to paint this on as if you were doing clear nail polish. Be careful about flooding your cuticle. If you don't know what that means, it's basically getting a whole bunch of dip back there towards your cuticle, because that's going to create like a little shelf, and it's going to cause lifting. All right, now I have to be very deliberate with this. This is the manicure tray. This actually helps you to dip and get that smile line that you get with French. And I found out, now see, that didn't get as smiley shaped as I want. So I'm going to go in again. I'm going to kind of lean my finger over a little in the direction that it didn't really get covered well. That's better. Tap off really well, and then we're going to dip the pink for the nail bed color. Something I learned from doing a French ombre is that you want to hold your nail straight down and tap off. Otherwise, it's going to kind of blow back up towards the top of the nail. I mean, towards your the nail plate, and it will give you that ombre effect. So if you're doing ombre, it's not as big a deal. But if you're trying to get a really solid smile line like I'm doing, it can pose a problem. All right. It dries really quickly. So I'm going to brush off the excess. I'm going to show you, this is why you want to do more than one layer. Can you see the areas that I missed? I missed quite a few areas there. Sorry, I got text messages coming through. I missed some of the purple is a little streaky and uneven, especially right there. And then there's pink down by my cuticle area that I didn't get really good. So that's why you want more than one layer. Plus when we file, now in this case, I'm gonna go over with clear. Thank you, Uncle Lester. Hey, how you doing? I appreciate it. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, darn it. Okay, and plus when I go over with the next layer of pink, you won't be able to see that line as well. Oh, I'm gonna dip clear over so that when I file, I don't file any of my glitter off. The shimmer in the pink wouldn't file off because it's meshed throughout, but the glitter in the purple could possibly rub the color off or rub the actual glitter itself off, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go over it with clear dip at the end, and that way I can file and buff down and everything. I'm gently filing because I got a little bit of purple down into the pink. I guess it's going to be hard to... All right. Hard to keep that from happening. Now I'm going to take extra care to get base coat in those places where it's a little streaky so that I can get really good coverage. All right, I'm holding it at a slight angle, pushing it down, watching the shape, and then kind of just adjusting it. And I'm taking very good care to tap off really carefully so that I don't end up with a bunch of purple blowing back up my nail. You want to hold it straight down and tap off gently so that it just kind of falls back into the container. Okay, I'm actually not sure I'm going to love this combo. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this nail all the way to finish. I'm manipulating, it's kind of uneven in this one spot. So I'm manipulating the dip a little bit while it's still wet to give me that really good defined line. Okay, it's drying on me now, so I gotta quit playing. I'm just getting some of that excess purple out of there. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and go over with base coat, and then I'm gonna do clear. Just so... I'm actually gonna pour some clear into a cupcake liner and use a nail swatch to scoop to try to hopefully keep any loose purple glitter out of it. But if I get purple glitter in it, I can just toss it. Haha, there's a gold heart floating around. Actually, there's another one. There's two gold hearts floating around in that. So I just got one of my nail swatches that I've done playing around to use as a little scoop. And this is going to be the clear, so I'm going to make sure that this is good and brushed off. And then I'm going to go in with base coat again over the whole nail, and I'm going to pour over the clear. I mean, you can dip straight down into the clear, but any of those little purple glitters could fall out into it. You just have to fish them out. It's just easier to do it if you have it poured in its own container. That way, if there's a bunch of it, you can just toss it. Okay, I gotta avoid the little gold heart that's running around in there. I was playing around Valentine's Day, putting hearts on, and ended up with one loose in there apparently. Okay, and what the clear is going to do is just going to give us a good layer to file. Thank you, Jennifer Doyle. Good to see you, girl. How you doing? Can you hang out with me? I'm going to dip the tip right down in the clear because when I did that waterfall over there, I didn't get it on the tip. And again, you can like tap it. You can actually manipulate it a bit. If it's a little bumpy, you can kind of shape it with your finger. And again, I'm going to go ahead and do this one to finish because I'm not sure that I like this look. So I'm going to actually activate this one. And then do top coat and everything. That way, if I decide I don't really like it, it's not too late. And I can do something different. I do love this color though. This purple is gorgeous. I'm going to use my activator that's got a little bit of pink in it. If I was doing a French manicure with white, I would use my clean activator. I keep 2 bottles of activator, one for light colors and one for dark colors. And we're going to let that soak in really well. What's everybody up to? I know it's a pain to type during a live. I'm going to actually see if I can fish out this gold heart that's running around in here so it doesn't end up getting on my nail. There it is. Oh, I dropped it. Where'd it go? Okay, I must have dropped it outside. Here's a couple of random ones too. That's the bad thing when you end up with these things. They're like all over now. They're in the carpet. They're all kinds of random places. I actually probably going to do my accent nail and add some hearts to it. I don't know yet. That activator has to get through all those layers that we've done and harden. So you can tell once it starts clicking like a fake nail. Like this one, obviously, this is old dip, so it's not wet or anything. But you hear how it clicks. That's what we're looking for to make sure it's good and hard. And then I'm going to do another layer of activator. And then we can file and buff. It's got to work through all those layers. It kind of melds everything together to give you that good hard surface. This is why this works so well for me, because this is pretty much just like acrylic. Like, you can control the thickness. You can do as many layers as you need and make them as thick. I figured I would need mine way thicker than most people, but I did not. So it actually worked out really well for me. I thought I would need like 4 or 5 layers, where most people use 3, sometimes 4. And this was plenty good. I've even gone 2 layers, but 2 is usually a little bit too weak. So 3 is actually your perfect sweet spot for most people. I don't know. What do y'all think? Can you see it? I don't know if I'm loving that. In my mind, I thought it was going to be so pretty. I'm not real good at the smile line, so that's part of it. Okay, it's almost hard enough to file. can jump on really quick and I can get some feedback from him. Let's see if I can invite him. I don't know if he's even on Facebook right now. He's at work. Okay, it's starting to give me the hard sound, like where it's hardening up. And again, I have one layer of clear over this. I don't want to file too much because I don't want to go all the way through that clear layer. And when you're filing, you can actually tell, I don't know if you can see the darker purple sections. The darker purple is where there's bumps it's not getting down to that point. So you can kind of, especially when you're going with a dark color, but even a light color, you'll see how it looks dusty or whatever. You can tell like when your nails are nice and smooth. That's what you're going for. You're looking for, hey, Miss Sharon, thank you. How are you doing, girl? I thought I would do birthday nails today. Normally I do Mani Monday, and I actually didn't feel like it. I was being lazy, and I was very behind on laundry, so I had to do laundry on Monday. So I thought, you know what? Let's do them on my birthday. That way I've got a fresh set for the weekend for our fancy dinner out. Anyway, you can see the darker purple there. That's where we're still uneven. So I'm filing it to get it nice and even. And I'm using a very light hand. This is an old file, so it doesn't have a whole lot of grit. It's got some, but not a whole lot. I'm not cold, actually. I mean, this is a very thin shirt. I keep my house a little chilly. Like, I'm usually cold in the house, but it's weird. The weather, to compare the weather with Florida, I didn't believe it. Like, my husband had a coworker that was from Tampa that came out here first, and he told Greg that he had gone to the movies wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and when he came out, it was 41 degrees, and he said he wasn't even cold. He walked from the theater back to the hotel, and he wasn't even cold, and I'm like, that boy's full of crap. He's so full of crap. Because in Florida, I'm freezing at 68. Like, I'm in layers and jackets and whatnot. Out here, it's more like high 30s, low 40s. We're coming out of jackets. We're coming out of jackets in the low 40s for sure. If the wind's blowing, that's a little bit different story. But the cold out here is so different. Like, it totally is so different. I didn't believe it. I thought the guy was full of it, but it is totally true. And our first winter, we were probably a little colder than we were the second and third winter. This winter, it's crazy because Greg called me one day and he's like, it's 38 degrees and I'm sweating. I'm like, well, come out of your jacket. He's like, I already have. It's comical. And we laugh all the time because it's so different. We love it out here so much, though. It's so pretty. I love being able to see up into the mountains, and a lot of times you can see down into the valleys. Like from my house, I can see Tooele City with no problem, and at night it's all lit up, all pretty. You can see the red lights and the car brake lights, and it's so pretty. There's just not words to describe it. And then, of course, the awesome mountain views and all that good stuff. But yeah, and it's sunny today, and let's see if my flag's blowing. My flag's blowing pretty good, so it's pretty windy out there, so it might be a little chilly, but the sun is shining beautiful, so I don't think it would be too bad. We have a polyester flag, which we found out that they don't fly as well as the nylon. The wind has to really be kicking up to blow it. You know, I was really worried about the snow. Honestly, I told Greg, I said, we're going to have to rent a house big enough that I have a room where I can put canned goods and all this, because we're going to be snowed in for 3 months. You're not going to be able to go anywhere. It's going to be terrible. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm going to have Amazon deliver groceries. I'm going to have this and that, blah, blah, blah. You're going to have to pick stuff up on your way home. I'm freaking out, right, when we were coming out here. And when we got out here, a native who lived in our neighborhood, they'd lived in that same neighborhood for, I believe it was 17 years. And she grew up in Tooele City, and she told me that, oh, it gets bad like 6 or 7 days a year. The rest of the time you can go out. It's not a problem, you know. It doesn't snow that often. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's normal to you. Like, I won't be able to handle it. But she was exactly right. It's true. we have some bad days. And Tooele City often has, I say Tooele City because we're in Tooele County. So when you say Tooele, you could be talking about the whole county or you could be talking about the city. But the city actually has a lot more snow on the ground. In fact, out here we have none on the ground in Grantsville. When we go to Tooele City the next time, they'll probably still have snow on the ground from the snowstorm that we had yesterday and the day before. So it stays on the ground a lot longer there. But it's also closer to the lake, so they get a lot more lake effect snow than we do. Although the lake isn't far, we can see it out of our back door and living room windows. I'm actually doing this now start to finish because I'm not sure that I love the way this looks. So I'm trying to decide, do I want to do all of them like this, or do I want to change my mind and do something completely different? I was very opposed to snow at first too, though. I really, I mean, I was all about Florida. I love the sunny, hot weather. During the summer, it gets me. The older I get, the worse it is for me. But, you know, you can stay in the AC most of the time. You know, you can plan it out where you're not out during the heat of the day. Or at least, you know, those of us who don't have to work outside in it can do that. But, I love the weather out here. It's amazing. We literally have 4 seasons, and that's something I've never really experienced because while we have had cold winters, and you know, spring usually has its own kind of vibe. It's cooler, the breezes are blowing, it's not as humid and things like that. So spring and summer and then fall, but we didn't really have like 4 true seasons. Here we totally do, and I love that. I love that they don't last like 2 days and then you've got 2 days of the opposite season that you're not even in, and you know, all the craziness of freezing cold 2 days and 80 and 90 2 more days, and it's crazy. Our winter this year though has been unseasonably warm to me, like and we haven't had hardly any snow this year, which I'm really sad about, but it is what it is. It's supposed to snow more this weekend and next week. But we're almost to the point where we're done with the snow. So, and then it's time to play with all my plants and see if I can bring them back to life after the dormancy they've been in. I've never been a landscaper person. I've never had plants and flowers and whatnot. So I'm kind of freaking out a bit. Like, am I going to have to like buy all those things all over again? Or am I going to be able to bring them back or what? Because I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm almost done with this nail. Again, I'm doing this start to finish so I can see if I want to do the whole set like this, because I'm not loving this as much as I thought I would. Although, now that I'm getting it filed and more evened out, it is looking a lot better. So, maybe so. Okay, I'm going to activate one more time. And that's just going to help bond any of that dip powder that I loosened up a little bit. It's going to give us that good solid bond where nothing's getting through. No water's going to soak into it. Shouldn't have any lifting. And then once this hardens, I'm gonna do. Oh, thank you, girl. Hey, how you doing? Thanks so much. I've actually wanted to cut it like this for many years, and I back out every time. I don't know why. It's the craziest thing. I've always been super like OCD about my nails. Like you know, I've kind of struggled through learning them myself, and I've kind of you know, they're not perfect, and I always want them to be perfect and look, you know, be all the same length and the same shape, and shaping is where I still have a problem. But it's funny, and with my hair, I never did care, but I was afraid to go with something like this, and I even had her shave it on the side. That was the part that I wasn't sure if I'd have the guts, but I told myself 2 days before my appointment, I'm like, don't chicken out, just do it, because I wanted to do something sassy and fun for my 50th. And I'm kind of loving it, to be honest. I mean, my husband likes long hair. So does my dad, actually. But my husband actually likes this little shaved part. So I think it's growing on him. He doesn't want to admit that, but I think it's growing on him. Okay, this is good and hard. I'm going to do my top coat, and then I'm going to see if this is what I want to do with all the nails or if I want to do something different. I really wish Greg would pop on and give me some feedback. But I guess he's busy. So I'm going to let this first layer of top coat dry, then I'm going to go in with a second top coat. You can do one coat if you want, but honestly the second coat is where you really get the shine, because the first coat kind of soaks into that activator and it kind of dulls it just a smidge. We also now have a matte top coat, which I'm dying to get. I actually made an order like a week and a half ago and I forgot to order it, like a dork. But sometimes there's colors you want to do matte, so I'm kind of excited to do that. This is by no means perfect, because the dipping tray, you just got to be super careful, and it's really hard to get a good. I'm actually going to pour some more if I end up doing this, but I don't know. I would call my son in here, but I know he won't like it. Okay, see, this is already dry. That top coat, it dries pretty quick. I do a very thin layer for the first layer, and then once it's dry, I go in with a thicker coat for the second coat. Dean, you want to come see this and see if you like them? He's obviously got his earphones in, or he's tuning me out, one or the other. Okay, so if you're here with me, tell me what you think of that. Should I do the whole set like that, or should I go with solid purple, or should I go with white, pink, and white fringe, or what? What do y'all think? I don't love it as much as I thought I would, but it is fun. And I'm actually wondering if it would look better if they were shorter. What do you think? You think they would look better shorter? So that you just have a little purple tip and then the rest pink? I don't know. I got it all on the side of my skin there. I just saw it. Which, honestly, it'll come off in the shower, off your skin. I love being able to do them at home, and I love the savings. This is still sticky. So, I don't know. But see, you can't really, I mean, I can faintly see the line where I did do the fill, but you can't tell that's a fill. And again, I would do full set every time just because of time. Like, it's so much quicker to soak off a full set than it is to file down, you know, and dip again. But you can do that. Sometimes I do file it down and do a color change before I have much growth. So technically it's not like a fill. I'm just going over the old dip. I'm not going on to my natural nail. I have done a color change numerous times, but I typically don't do fills. And honestly, it depends on how thick they are too, because that's when you need to, like, this one's pretty thick. I didn't get this one filed down enough. I definitely couldn't do color change on that. I would have to file several layers off. Hey girl, hey. Thanks. What do you think? I need some feedback. Like, it's not as, I don't love it as much as I thought I would, and it's not perfectly even. I'm not a nail tech, so I'm not real good at some of that stuff. So I don't know. Like, should I just do the whole nail purple, or should I do it with the tips? And would they look better shorter versus longer? I really like my nails long though. And I struggled with going with just pink and white or my standard red that I always wear. But I'm like, no, it's like my 50th birthday weekend. I need to do something like sassy and different. Okay, this is all dry now. This is the second layer of top coat. We got good shine going on. I just don't know. I know. You do like the purple tip. You don't think it looks weird that it's not perfect. I mean, you can kind of see it's a little janky over here. And it's not as perfect of a smile line. Thank you. Everybody's saying that. I'm so excited. Like, I've been wanting to do a hairdo like this for a long time. And I just, you know, I was just like, what better time than my 50th birthday? I was actually going to get it cut yesterday. Like, I had originally scheduled the appointment for yesterday thinking, but then I thought, no, that doesn't give me enough time to play with it and figure it out because I don't know what I'm doing. So, Kenny Penny Silver. I was actually going to do that. It's really tedious the way that I do it. There's probably easier way. Like, I do have some art brushes, but I'm not real good at making the line nice and fine. I could probably use a dotting tool. But what I was going to do for my accent nail was once I got it dipped, I was going to use the French tip guides that I just bought from Amazon. And I was going to put one up and then one below it and create the line and then do the line in silver. Make my son do it for me. Do the silver line or paint it on. No. I probably couldn't talk him into doing it anyway, but I don't think he could get it nice and straight and everything. I mean, he might surprise me, but I don't know. But I thought about doing that, but it would be very tedious to do all my nails. But that would be a way to do it without, you know, to kind of, what's the word for it, blend that line better. Maybe I'll try the dipping tool, the dotting tools. Let's see, they're right here. All right, let's do the next one, and I'm gonna try that. Well, actually, I'm gonna try it on my ring finger. That way, if it's too much of a pain, I can just use, because that's what I was gonna do on my accent nail anyway. So that way I can just, and I'm gonna pour some of the extra Twilight in the in my manicure dipping tray. I think that will help because I usually pour it full and I didn't this time, and I'm wondering if that's why I'm having a hard time getting the smile line kind of perfect. Okay. I'm going to run just a quick layer of primer since I've been talking so much and playing around so much. I don't think I really need it, but better to need it and not have it than to have it and not need it. I said that all backwards, but you know what I mean. Okay, so happy birthday to your baby boy too. It actually helps you with the smile line. Like, I'll show you if you can see. Can you see it? If you can see it, you put the dip in there and get it nice and even, and then you do the top coat. I mean base coat. I do that every time. And again, this is like painting clear nail polish. And you just kind of angle your finger and you slide it down in there. And it creates that smile line for you. And then I go into my pink and I just use the pour over method to pour right over. And I'm going to yeah, see, this one came out a lot better than my thumb did. And I'll do another layer so it will even it up a little bit, but there's that. Because there is a couple places I missed. Can you see there on the pink? There's definitely a missed spot there, and there's a little bit on the purple that's a little bit thin. I always do at least 2 coats, and then I'll go over this with clear. For this nail, though, we'll do the silver line first and then do clear over top. And it actually goes much faster when I'm not talking to people when I'm more focused on my nails and not talking and stuff. Only accessory I'd want to get. Oh, the dipping tray, yes. The dipping tray, if you're doing French, I did buy these. But the problem with these is when you stick it down to your nail to make the smile line, you dip it in the white, you can't immediately go and spoon the pink over, so you've got to do them separate, so it can be a little hairy. So, not impossible, but a little hairy. So, I actually haven't used those for French yet. I've used them to make lines. I had a really cool silver line kind of going like that, like rainbow shaped across my nail when I did my Valentine's manicure, which I actually love the way that turned out. And I used 2 of those so that I could get the perfect arch and it would be nice and straight and all that good stuff. So I brushed this off pretty good. I'm gonna go in with my base coat again. Do a layer of base. And we sell these dipping trays, they're only $5. It's, you know, I feel like our accessories are really reasonably priced. I love our manicure set. I just got a manicure set for upstairs so that we would have all the tools up there. And again, I'm going to slide it in just so carefully, only because I'm trying to control where that dip is going so that I get a really good smile line. And you'll want to hold it straight down and gently tap. Otherwise, it blows back onto your nail and you end up with more of an ombre effect, which is fine if that's what you're going for, but if you're going for that really tight smile line, you don't want to do that. I found that out with a pink and white set that I did, and it ended up more of an ombre, which was fine. I mean, it still looked really pretty, but some of them were a little more tighter than others, so it wasn't, you know, it wasn't a perfect, you know, whatever. This one came out way better than the first one. I actually have some tiny little hearts. I was going to do the silver smile line, or the silver line, and then I was going to add hearts on there. Still not completely perfect, but I'm, you know, I'm just me. I'm not that good at it. But it is easy to do. There's a lot of people. I have several customers who actually do a way better job than I do. But I learn something every time I do it. Like, I learn ways to get better. I learn little tips and tricks, and I share that in my VIP group. I share those with people in my VIP group. See, there's actually purple all in that. Can you see that? I'm not sure that I'm loving that. It's really hard because it gets into the brush and everything. I need to ask some of our other consultants about how they deal with that. I mean, I've tried the whole have a different brush, and I don't know. This, I think, I have one for pink and white, and it's put somewhere else. This one, I think, is one of my newer brushes that I got for other colors, but it's spreading the purple back into the pink, so not a huge deal, but by, you know, no means do I look like I just walked out of the salon. But you can. If you're better than me, you can. One of my customers right out of the gate, she was like a pro. It's ridiculous how good she can do hers. All right, so now I'm gonna do the silver line. I got Show Me the Money for that, because that's our silver that are opaque. We have fairy wings too, which is really sheer, and it's really good for like over another color to give it a lot of sparkle or more sparkle or whatever you're going for. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take these forms, and this is another thing. I would use a lot of forms trying to do this on every nail. Then I'll take another one and leave a bit of a gap. On my left hand, I may try the dotting tool and see which works better. I've only used the dotting tool like one time, and the problem with that was I got too much dip on it. So it was more like bulky. Although my line I did was pretty bulky too. Now what I'll do once I do this silver line is I'll go in and do base coat again, and I'll do clear over the top of it. Muffin, have you been in here sleeping this whole time? She's gonna take a bath now. My son and his sound effects. I don't know if y'all can hear that. Okay, here we go. Hopefully this is gonna be good enough. I also have little stones I can always put on there if I don't like the way this turns out. Okay, I'm wiping a lot of the base coat onto that gasket that's inside of our bottles. Our bottles are the only ones I know of that have that gasket inside of them. It keeps you from getting excess top or base coat all over the neck, the lip of the bottle, and ending up with what you call it, your bottle's glued shut. Here, I'm gonna stick it in. It's gonna adhere to my going to adhere to the back side of my forms, but okay. Now I'm going to let that dry a little bit. The thing you have to be careful of, you see where I got the base coat and all of the what you call it, the other dip. When we peel it away, we're gonna have to be really careful not to pull our design off. I noticed that last time I did this, you just gotta pull very gently and be deliberate with removing it. And again, the silver is show me the money. And I'm just kind of pressing it down with my finger to get it good and stuck to my nail so that when we pull the forms off, it doesn't pull the color off. Oh, thank God. There was a bunch of glitter all underneath, all over the purple, and I thought it had stuck to it, but it did not. Ugh. There's purple showing on the corners. I'm manipulating it with my fingers a little bit, like arching it down some to cover up that purple. Yep, it's working perfectly. I said that, I just pulled a chunk off, but that's okay because it worked out. Now we also have foil ribbons and we have some different stuff. I said we have rhinestones and stuff like that. So there's that. You can see the purple, but I don't know that I'm that worried about it. Now I'm going to do base coat again and clear. Let me get me a clean nail swatch. I use my nail swatches for spoons. I got my clear over here. I'm going to go over it with clear so that it protects that line of silver that I did. I'm just using the lightest pressure because I got a piece of pink that I don't know if the form pulled up or what. Okay. I'm going to go over it with the base. And our clear powder is so super fine. It's actually a lot finer than the colors because it doesn't require pigments and mica and whatnot to make the colors. I'm going to touch that tip down into the clear. So Candace, are you still there? Do y'all have anything super fun planned today for Grayson, or are y'all doing something over the weekend? Okay, it's a smidge bumpy where the silver line is, so I'm going to go in with more clear. I'm not totally avoiding the silver line, but I'm kind of doing it around. How's y'all's weather today, Candace? Y'all doing okay? Did y'all end up losing power and stuff? I haven't actually seen any updates on Texas today. I haven't really even turned on the news, and I haven't looked much on Facebook either. Just kind of pushing it down into the clear and raking it up on there. Like, it ain't got to be a fancy procedure or anything. Okay. So that's before we do activator and top coat. The shine will pick up when we do the top coat. Right now I'm going to do activator and harden it. I'm hungry. I just realized I haven't eaten lunch today. And it's probably 1:30. No, it's almost 2 o'clock here. I'm thinking I I probably should have used gems, little rhinestones. Hey, Miss Jana, how are you? Good to see you, girl. I'm playing around here. I'm working on this one. I've still got to activate and do top coat on this one. Trying something out to see. Thank you. I actually didn't love this as much as I thought I would, but I'm probably still going to go ahead and do it just because it's easy. Like, I already have all the stuff out, and I don't know what else I'd do, and then I'd have to file that one off and stuff. So I think I'm going to go ahead. I can always change it next week if I decide to. So I am going to go ahead with this nail here. I'm just very deliberately going down into the purple. Again, you want to hold your nail straight down and gently tap off, otherwise it's going to blow back onto that, the rest of that dip, and you don't want that to happen. This, I'm doing a fill, so you can see I've got a lot of my nail exposed there. I'm going to spoon the pink over that just to try to keep the purple from getting into the pink. Thank you, Miss Shannon. I was trying to decide what to do. I kept going back to my French, pink and white French, and red, which I do all the time and have for many, many years. And I was like, you know what? I need something different and fun. So that's when I got to thinking about this beautiful purple. I've never worn this purple, and that's my shade of purple that I love so much. So I'm like, ooh, I should do tips and then do the pink and, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm not the best painter when it comes to this stuff, or the best, you know, dipper, whatever. So I don't have a perfect smile line. But I guess unless somebody scrutinizes it really close, they're not even really going to know. And you want to do at least 2 dips to get any color that you missed. And I'm kind of manipulating my nail just a little bit down in there. And again, you want to tap off, hold it straight down and tap gently so you don't have any of the purple blow back up on the top. And then I'm scooping the pink over for the base. Daddy, hey! Thanks, Jana. I love it too, actually. My husband still don't love it, but he does love it where it's shaved on the side. He likes that. Daddy, what are you doing? You probably ain't gonna like my nails. You don't like it when I do funky stuff. I'm doing purple tips with pink on the nail plate. And it's okay if you don't like it. I don't mind. But you know me, I'm very opinionated and I'm gonna do what I want. Okay, I need to do another layer of activator. This is where I can get myself confused when I'm multitasking. Another layer of activator on this nail. Then on this one, I'm going in with my second dip. I already did 2 dips on this one, didn't I? See? I told you, I'll mess myself up. I think in the future when I do this, I very well may do ombre, simply because it does get the color scattered into on the nail plate. Or maybe I just need more practice. That's probably more like it. Tapping off the excess very carefully, then going in with the pink. And again, I kind of tap it down with my finger, just very gently tap it down, and that helps it to stick better. Daddy, are you being too lazy to type, or are you having a hard time typing? Oh my goodness. That was my son making all kinds of racket. Oh, that one does not. Here, let me see if I can. Bubby, are you okay? Dean, are you all right? Oh, it sounded like you had a weird sigh or something. It sounded like you sighed really loud. I didn't know if you fell or something. I'm just working on shaping it up. It was a little jacked. I think this is going to work. Thank goodness. Because that kind of stuff bugs me bad. I'm just kind of pushing the powder around a little bit, and then I'm pressing it back down. Now I'm pressing really hard to kind of blend it back together. Well, that does look a lot better. Feel free to ask any questions if you have any. That's what I'm here for, to help however I can. Again, I learn a lot as I go. Okay, let that activator soak in really well. Oh, I didn't go over this with clear. It doesn't matter. I can let the activator harden, and then I can go do a layer of base coat and dip in clear. Maybe file it down first. Well, I can't really file it down. That's what the clear's for. It's okay. I can wing it. And with the manicure tray, you'll tap it out a little bit to get your dip all nice and even. That helps. And then dip it down in there. Gently pull it out, hold it straight down, and then just gently tap off. And then put dip the pink on. And again, you could stick your finger into the pink, but the reason I don't is because it helps to keep all the purple out of the jar if there's any loose purple on there. May not keep all of it out, but it helps. So it's just personal preference. Sometimes I make up another container. Like my clear is over here in a cupcake liner to keep it from getting in the container of clear. Ooh, that might be my best smile line yet. And even it's not perfect, but it's good. Honestly, this is probably going to bug me. I'm probably going to have to do something different. Because I'm all about, like, I want it to be perfect, and it's not. But that's just me. Some people are better at it than I am. Mama always did say I'm like a bull in a china cabinet when it comes to things. She's right. Going in with another dip into the purple to get the places that I missed. Be very careful and deliberate, trying to wiggle my finger around so that I can hit that same smile line, since that one came out so good. I've actually only done this like 3 times, and the one time was more of a French ombre with the pink and white, so it didn't need it wasn't as tedious of a job. Ombre actually is a lot easier to do, in my opinion. I'm just gently manipulating the dip and like trying to straighten that smile line a little bit. And that actually helps, believe it or not. Going over it with clear. Tapping the end down in there to encapsulate it really well. I think my daddy might have signed on here and fell asleep, because he usually at least says hey. Careful not to flood that cuticle like I just did, which is basically another way of saying getting too much product down near the cuticle line. What I'm actually doing, hold on. I didn't do the first couple like this, but it's working better, so this is what I'm doing now. Let me show on this nail that's already been top coated and everything. I'm sliding it almost at like a 45-degree angle, or actually probably not quite 45. And I get it about most of the way in, and then kind of turn it downward, like press downward. And then just watch that the dip gets everywhere that I want it to get. And you might need to gently move your finger from one side to the other, just ever so slightly. And that's very helpful, by the way. So that's something I've just now learned, that when you're doing colors and there's that really blatant line of demarcation, that helps what I just did. Thank you, Christine. I appreciate it. Happy birthday to me. Okay, I did one dip on that one, so I need to actually do another. And I'm doing 2 dips of the color, and I'm doing 1 dip of clear. And let's be honest, I will probably end up changing this in a couple of days. I may even change it tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. Again, like kind of move it forward and then like tip it downward. Okay, I was kind of all over the place. Yeah, that's what I thought. And then pink over for the base, for the nail plate. Say hey when you join me. And then I'm going to brush the excess off. Oh, that one looks really good. I got that one, the shape of the purple is really good on that one. Okay, I'm going to do the clear on this one now. And again, this clear dip is super sheer, super fine. I do the clear to encapsulate it all so that we can file if necessary without filing off any of that purple color. It's really good for our chunkier glitters, because the chunkier glitters, if you file directly on them, it will actually scrape the color off and leave silver behind. So it's good to do that layer of clear because it protects your color and still allows you to file pretty aggressively. I'm going to use my little tool here to just kind of scrape off some uneven pieces, for lack of a better explanation. Because once you use the activator and it hardens, it's a lot harder to deal with. You have to file it off at that point. But since we have not activated yet, it's still kind of pasty, I guess. And I'm just getting it off my cuticle is what I'm doing. I actually should be going around my cuticle area with a tool anyway, because that gives you a really smooth, pretty line around the cuticle area. It's not all like jaggedy and whatnot. Okay, almost done here. Then I'm going to go in with activator. Okay, I need to activate this now. Run that now. Okay, with this one, we're activated. There's no top coat. The activator's hard. I'm actually going to go in and try to file off some of the purple glitter down on the pink. I'm going to see if I can salvage it that way. First, I'm going to use very lightly my, you know what though? There's clear between them. Let me use my buffer. Let me see what happens when I buff it out. If I'd have thought about it, I could have done this actually before I did my clear coat and got it off. But it just occurred to me that I could probably buff it right off. Some of it's still coming off, like, what happens is it gets in the base coat brush, and really I should be using a napkin and wiping it off. To get that out of there, and that would help the problem, but I tend not to be the most patient person. So I'll probably actually clean this in my brush saver bottle after I'm done with this manicure. That way I get all the glitter out of that brush, because that's the biggest problem with that. Oops, wrong side. This right here is one of the buffers that come with the Dipping Essentials kit, the Big Dipper kit, and the Dipping Starter kit, I think, is the other one. And it comes with all of them. And this is actually a really good buffer. It's a little grittier on this side than it is on this side. This is your finishing side. And a lot of times after I do my, or even like if I'm filing glitter or something, I'll use this buffer side just because it's not as coarse as this 100-180 file. And it gives you that nice smooth surface too. And that's only if you don't have like crazy bumps. If you've got crazy bumps in there, you may need the grittier file to kind of file it, which is perfectly fine. That's why we go over it with clear, so that we don't scrape any of that color off. Like in this case, my purple tips would be able to withstand that. So I'm just filing all of it. I'm getting me a really good smooth surface. And at the same time, cleaning up that pink. Looks a lot better already. Now, one way you can avoid that, well, I don't know. I actually haven't found a way to avoid it, per se. But cleaning off the brush after each coat that you do, wiping it off on a lint-free napkin or other lint-free cloth of some sort. That is going to be something that helps the most, is by doing that, making sure that you don't have color transfer. I need to eat something. I'm hungry. I'm so hungry. Ooh, I should have made me a protein coffee to bring in here while I did this. After I file these, that's what I'm doing. I'm pampering myself. I actually probably won't go back to a salon. Now, obviously, I went to a hair salon because I can't do my hair myself. Greg's cut it for me before, but it's literally just like chop off, like no fancy cut of any kind. Like he'll just take the scissors and go along the bottom. But nails, I probably won't ever go back to a nail salon. because the cost, like when I was in Florida, my nail tech, I used to tell her all the time she undercharged because I was very OCD. Like I needed to find a nail tech that could do my nails perfectly, exactly like I like, and this, that, and the other, and it was very hard to do. So when I found her, I used to tell her all the time she undercharged. At the time, it was $20. She might have gone up on prices since because I haven't had my nails done there in like 3 years, almost 3 years. But I love her to death, and she's so super sweet. So with tip and everything, it was $24, which is totally justifiable, especially when you don't spend a lot of money on like highlights and different things. You know, like I've never been one to spend a whole lot of money on my hair. I did go through a period of time where I did get highlights, but it was like probably a year, maybe 2. And then the rest of the time, I've always colored my own hair. I get just a plain haircut, nothing fancy. So I never did spend a lot of money on my hair. So then the nails I could justify really easily. Plus, I can't grow my own nails because they're so super thin. So I have to get acrylics. I tried gel polish. I've tried shellac. I've tried all kinds of different things. Nothing ever worked. So I always had to do acrylics. I could do gel on top of acrylic, but I always had to have acrylics because my nails are so paper thin. So when I ran into this product, it was when the salon shut down. Now, when I moved out here, fills were a lot more expensive. With tip and everything, it was $42. So that was a bit of a sticker shock, and I actually had to push it where I was going every 3 weeks instead of every 2 weeks, just to fit it in the budget. But my nail tech was amazing. Like, I loved her to death, and I would not have gone anywhere else because she did a phenomenal job every time she did my nails out here. But when I found this, it was when the salon shut down with COVID, and you couldn't go to a salon. And I either had to go without nails or I had to figure out something to make them strong enough. So when I came across this product, I honestly didn't think it would work, but I was willing to try it because I love having nails. I've had nails for the better part of the last 20 to 25 years. And I love having my nails done. That's my thing. Like hair, not so much. Nails, definitely my thing. And so I had my doubts that the product would work because my nails are so super paper thin, and I always needed acrylic to get the strength. Oh, thank you. I actually love my natural color. This is still got a lot of the dye in it. What happened with my dyed hair is that the sun bleached it out, so it turned this weird blonde. So it's got a lot of blonde in it still. This right here is natural. Most of this side is natural. There's still a little bit on the ends, I think. But that's one reason I went with a shortcut, because I want to get rid of the growth and see what my final natural color is going to look like. But I got sidetracked. What was I saying? Oh, I didn't think it would work. So, but I thought, you know, it's not that much money. I'll buy a kit. If I don't like it, I just won't use it anymore, and then we'll figure out something else. Thankfully, when I got it, it literally, I mean, they're as hard as acrylic. I was digging in the landscape. Like, I'm not one for wearing gloves a whole lot. I did sometimes, but most of the time I was out there just in my regular hands, just digging. And also hand washing dishes and all the different things. And they stand up to all that. Any cleaning, landscaping, all that stuff. And I was super impressed. And I love our sweet owners. They live in Florida. It's a small company still, and we still have the personal touch, so I just love everything about it. There's nothing bad that I could say. They've always been phenomenal, and I love that I have the option. My favorite thing is being able to change the color anytime I want. I don't have to wait for the appointment, or if I get up and I don't feel like going, like, you know, you have your appointment and you've waited for your appointment for 2 weeks or whatever, or 3 weeks, and you get up, you may not feel like going anywhere, or the weather may be nasty or whatever. You don't have to worry about that. I could do them at 11 o'clock at night. I could change them again tomorrow if I decide I want to, and I can totally justify that because every manicure is less than $3. It's closer to $2 a manicure, but I say $3 just to allow for you know, somebody that may dip more, or somebody that may do embellishments and whatnot. But under $3 a manicure, you could change them every day if you wanted to. And they normally don't take this long. I tend to talk a lot. and I file at them rather than go to town on them. You know, if I go to town on them, like if I'm not on a video and I'm doing them myself, I can literally have them done in about 30 minutes for the full set. That's soaking off, doing all the prep and everything, about 30 to 40 minutes per set. So it's really, and you get better as you get more experience with it too. It's easier once you know what you're doing and you know what the steps are and stuff. But I've loved it. I love our colors. Like, we have a huge array of colors. There's something for everybody, you know. If you're more of a natural kind of person, we have a lot of like muted natural colors. We've got a lot of like bright in your face colors, a lot of glitters, a lot of solids, some mood changing colors, some really chunky glitters. What else do we have? Glow in the dark colors, which I'll be honest, I thought the glow in the darks would not work very well. I was blown away. I did a video of it. As a matter of fact, I have, this is one of our glow in the dark colors. It is green and then it glows green. Another one we have is purple but glows blue, and they glow so bright. I couldn't get over how bright they are. So come spring, I'm going to be doing some glow in the dark nails too. Love them though. And they're always coming out with new stuff too. We have a lot of great accessories as well. If you don't want to dip your nails, or you don't put any like hard stuff on your nails or whatever, we have a lot of great, very good priced accessories as well. Buffers, nail files, glass files, which I hear are the bomb. I have not used one. We've got brushes like this pretty brush, nail clippers, fake tips, the whole deal. And our dips go over tips or on your natural nail, either way. Perfectly fine, either way, not any different. I don't know if I have plans tonight. My husband's going to be in for a rude awakening because we haven't talked about anything, and I haven't cooked anything, and I'm not going to cook anything. So if they don't have plans, we may just be eating frozen pizza out of the freezer. We do have plans this weekend, though. We tend not to go like... Well, okay. All the good restaurants, I say good restaurants. We have good restaurants here about 20 minutes away, 15 minutes away, whatever. But nothing really fancy. Like, our fanciest restaurant is Applebee's. And we eat there all the time, so it's not a treat anymore. It's like one of those deals like, Applebee's again. Oh, thank you, Daddy. Have you been watching this whole time? You haven't been talking at all. You didn't even say hey when you jumped on. Or maybe you did say hey. Maybe that's all you said. But anyway, so Applebee's is just kind of like, okay. And then we go to a diner place that serves breakfast all day, and their other food is bomb, but it's nothing fancy. It's just a little diner restaurant. And so to go anywhere like Chili's or Carrabba's or Outback or P.F. Chang's or any of those restaurants, any of the big chains, they're all in Salt Lake City, which is about 45 minutes away. Well, since Greg comes home from Salt Lake City, he doesn't want to go back to Salt Lake City, especially during the week. Sometimes I can drag him there on the weekend, but we are going this weekend. We have reservations at an Italian restaurant called Walter's Osteria or Osteria. I don't know how you say it, but the owner, he's like really old, but he's still very involved in the we do have Texas Roadhouse, but not close. It's all the way in Salt Lake City and Layton and all that. I figured you went to sleep, Daddy. I figured you signed on and then fell asleep. I love Texas Roadhouse, by the way. Their steaks are amazing. But usually, if we're going to Salt Lake, we're not going to go to some of those places that we've been to a lot. Like Outback is one we've been to a lot. Texas Roadhouse, we used to go all the time when we lived in Florida. What's some of the others? I don't know. But we've got this one place we really love called Red Rock Brewery in Salt Lake City. They have 2 locations, and that's one of our favorite places to go. But anyway, Walter's is an Italian restaurant, and I had asked, or Greg was even asking around about restaurants, and everybody was saying Walter's. And when I looked at their menu, Greg's like, we'll go wherever you want. And when I looked at their menu, I was reading their menu, and I'm like, Walter's, definitely. We did go to this one place called Tiburon Fine Dining for our 25th wedding anniversary, and their food was amazing. So I had actually thought about that place as well, but we've never tried Walters, heard lots of good things about it, so I'm anxious to try it. And we like Italian food, but we don't love Italian food, but some of their stuff looked so amazing. But yeah, there's nothing good here local to eat. I say there's nothing good. Let me take that back. There are a couple of good restaurants here, but you know, you go all the time to those restaurants and you get kind of burnt out on them. We have a Mexican restaurant here in Grantsville that we love, which is literally 5 minutes away. So we go there at least once a week. But anywhere different or unique or anything is all the way in Salt Lake, and we don't go there that much. I say all the way in Salt Lake like it's so far. It's like 45 minutes. But there's a lot of traffic there too, so we hate going there. Oh, this is getting a really nice, smooth surface. I do have a very good husband. That's why I can't complain at all. Last year they baked me a cake, so, and then our son's birthday is also in February, so he's already had his cake. My son hasn't even wished me happy birthday yet. I don't think he remembers it's my birthday today. Little brat. He's an awesome kid, though. Part of the problem too is I got flowers for Valentine's Day, so I got flowers. Oh, and a soda from our little drink shop. Y'all, oh my gosh. The drinks out here are nuts. There's these little drink shacks everywhere, all over the city, all over Salt Lake, and out here in Grantsville. In Grantsville, we have one, but we have a store that sells them. Actually, 2 stores that sell the drinks. And then in Tooele City, which is about 15 minutes away, that's where we normally go to eat and stuff. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like 5 drink shops there. They're little tiny shacks with a drive-through. Some of them have a storefront inside. But anyway, it's all the rage. And it was so crazy when we first moved here. It's like all the sodas you can imagine with all these different mix-ins, fresh fruit, purees, syrups, all that. And there's like, they create these drinks and they name them something. And it's like a big thing. And most of them sell cookies too, so it's like cookies and drinks, kind of like almost like a 50s type soda fountain type of vibe, but just modernized. But super good stuff. So when we moved out here, we're like, what is this? Honestly, it would be so cool to have that in Florida. It's funny, though, how each area has its own thing. When we were in New Orleans, they were all about snowballs. I remember that summer, we would drive around. We spent the summer there with hubby while he was working out of town. And we would drive around and we would see snowballs everywhere. Like, get your snowballs here, you know. And I'm thinking, snowballs. I would think of those icky, like, spongy cakes with the coconut on them, which I hate coconut. But they're pretty. They're big round and they look like a snowball. And that's what they're called. So that's what I thought they were, but no. Snowballs are like Hawaiian ice times 50. Like, way better than Hawaiian ice. Oh, so good. But tons of sugar. A lot of sugar. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not that worried about it. He spoils me so many ways that if he don't make a whole big fanfare of my birthday, that's fine. Do you mean like Starbucks type stuff? Is that what you mean when you say baristas? Or do you mean like a bar type of thing? The only time I've ever heard the term barista is the people that make your drinks at Starbucks, which we have a lot of those as well. We have the one called the Coffee Shop. We have a Starbucks. This is all in Tooele. We have Jana's Java, which they say is bomb. And then out here in Grantsville, we have Java Bean, which I love Java Bean. I go there because they're a small business and they're in my hometown, so, or in the city that I live in. So I want to support them. Honestly, they have better coffee. Oh, and we also have the Pit Stop. That's another one. Yeah, well, this is like that, but it's all like mixed drinks type thing with different sodas. They have energy drinks, sodas. The one I love is out here at a place called Guzzle. Guzzle's my favorite one of all the drink shops. And I get it's called the Lover's Leap. It's water, just plain water with strawberry, and I get strawberry puree. You get your choice of puree and mix-ins. I get strawberry puree and a lemon and a lime, and that is bomb. Somebody suggested it in our, somebody was talking about Guzzle in our little city group, our Facebook group, and somebody mentioned that, and I love strawberry anyway, so I'm like, that sounds good. And it was. That's my favorite. We like to run through there and grab drinks and then head off to Salt Lake, and then we have something to sip on the whole time while we're in the truck and running from place to place or whatever. We were going through there like 3 times a week. So our drink budget was through the roof. It was ridiculous. Yeah, this is actually looking really good. It's taken a lot of that purple out of the pink on my nail plate. There's still some, but it's taken a lot of it out. So if I'd have done that before I put clear over, I would have. I honestly do not miss Florida. The only thing I miss is the fact that my family is there and Greg's family. That's the only thing I miss about Florida. I don't miss the landscape. I don't miss the weather. I don't miss any of that. Plant City is so crowded too. Like, it's funny because Tooele City is the same size as Plant City. And population-wise, they're both right at 40,000 or a little over. And Tooele is so much easier to get around than Plant City. Plant City is just like traffic everywhere, and trains, traffic and trains. And out here in Tooele, Main Street is literally just like straight down the road, and then all your businesses are on the left and the right side of the road. And to me, it's just so much easier to get around, and traffic is nowhere near like it was in Plant City. Now, that being said, that might be because people are working in, Salt Lake City, so they're not here until the evening. But even in the evenings and on the weekends, traffic isn't that bad. Not like in Plant City. It's crazy, the difference. Especially considering it's the same size city, population-wise. Plant City has a lot more stuff, though, than Tooele does. Like I say, our fancy restaurant here is Applebee's. So, you miss the beaches? I never was really much into the beaches. Like, I enjoyed going to the beach if the weather was nice and the sun was really hot and it was like the middle of summer and the breeze was blowing, so it was cool out there. But I've just never been one that cared about going to the beach a whole lot. Greg really doesn't care to go to the beach. He burns really easy, so we just never went to the beach a whole lot. Now, when I was a young 20-something or older teen, me and a friend went to the beach all the time. That was before I got married. But, you know, and my mom always burned too, so we didn't spend a lot of time on the beach when I was growing up either, because my mom has fair skin and red hair, and so she burns really easy. I tan very easy. But, you know, it was just a long drive, and I don't remember my dad ever liking to hang out on the beach, really. We had a couple of beach vacations, but it wasn't anything major. And Greg and I have taken a couple of beach vacations. We actually took my parents with us to St. Augustine when Dean was little. We did vacation there with them. And that was nice, but like I said, they can't spend, neither one of them can spend much time. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And I-4 too is a nightmare. Like, it doesn't matter what time of day you go. It's horrible. Greg's commute from Tampa International to Thanota-Sassa, where we were living right before we moved here, it was 18 miles away, and it took him 45 to 50 minutes every day to get home because most of his time was sitting in traffic. If there was an accident, it would take a little bit longer. The longest time, I think, was about an hour and a half. He was stuck in traffic. So every day was 45 minutes to go 18 miles. And out here, he's about 35 miles away from home, and it takes him 40 minutes. And it pretty much doesn't matter what time of day it is, what day it is, or anything. It's usually about 40 to 45 minutes for his commute home. And there's been a couple of exceptions because our road, there's only one way in and out of the valley. There's only one way out of here to Salt Lake area is one interstate that is 4 lanes. It's 2 on one side, 2 on the other. And yeah, so only 2 lanes getting out of here. But anyway, if there's an accident that blocks the road or anything, that can really back traffic up. So how are you doing anyway, girl? I haven't talked to you in a while. Hope you're doing good. How is y'all's weather there? Are y'all getting a lot of snow? We are not. We did this week, but it's already melted off. There's still snow in the mountains, but not down on the valley floor. Actually, I take that back. There may be still snow in Tooele because Tooele tends to get a lot more snow than we do out here in Grantsville. And I think we got like 3 inches, 2, 3 inches. I don't know. It wasn't a lot at all. They got like 11 inches at the airport the other day. Okay, I actually think I am going to add gems to that middle finger there, or the ring finger rather. It would be much shinier after I put on the top coat, but I feel like it needs gems. Oh, I remember you saying that. I do remember you saying that. I love Texas Roadhouse. They have some of the best steaks aside from Charlie's in Tampa and Orlando. That was my favorite steak place. Texas Roadhouse is number 2 of everywhere I've tried. And I'm a steak snob, so it has to be good. I love their steak. And thankfully it's affordable. Charlie's is a bit pricey, but we used to go there all the time because we loved it so much. Or I loved it so much. He loved it too, but I was the one that was always like, we need to go to Charlie's. I do miss that. We have a good steak place out here that's comparable to Charlie's. It's called Spencer's for Steaks and Chops. There's a few of them around. It's in a hotel in Salt Lake City. It's actually in a hotel lobby in Salt Lake City. Or not a hotel lobby, but you know what I mean. The restaurant's inside the hotel. But I believe they're more expensive than Charlie's. The only time I've ever been there, we had a dining certificate from Open Table. We use Open Table a lot for reservations, and we earn points, and then we can redeem the points for a free dining certificate. And so I ended up with a $100 certificate, and it was actually $87 on top of that 100. So we ended up spending $187 plus tip for our meal out that day. So we haven't been back there because I'm scared of a big old bill. You have to stay away from those rolled in honey butter. So good. Dean loves that honey cinnamon butter stuff. We like regular butter, but those rolls are to die for. I swear I could eat like 2 baskets of those and forget the steak. It's bad, but I like my carbs, so my whole family likes carbs. Greg and Dean both like carbs. It's bad. They're not good for you. I'm almost done. Like I said, it never takes this long, but I get in like chill mode when I do a live, and I just kind of relax and not in a rush. So that's why it seems so long. How long have I been live? Probably over an hour. Yep. Oh gosh, almost 2 hours. Good Lord. That's crazy. I didn't realize it had been that long. probably need to FaceTime my husband and ask him what he thinks about my nails. I don't know if I love them or not. Thank you, Howie. Young lady. I like the way you put that. Young old lady. Hey, you know what? I gotta say this. When I was approaching 30, I was probably about 3 months away from turning 30. And it broadsided me like a ton of bricks. Like, it freaked me out. And I actually went into a funk. Like, it depressed me. It made me funky, the whole deal. And it kind of broadsided me because I wasn't expecting it. Because at first I was happy about turning 30. And then that depression set in. And I'm like, and that's not typical for me. I don't have issues like that. And it just blew me away. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. What's going to happen when I turn 40 and 50? But it's funny, going into 40, I was like, bring it on. And with 50, I'm like, woohoo, bring it on, let's party. It's so funny. Oh, you too, Pam. It was nice talking to you, girl. Thanks for hanging out, by the way. But yeah, it was funny because 40 and 50, neither one bothered me. No other age has bothered me since 30. 30 broadsided me. I wasn't expecting it, I think, was the biggest thing. I wasn't expecting to be all funky about it. I don't know. I don't even know why. Like, it makes no sense. Because 30 is like the prime. Like, 30 is when you kind of arrive in life. Like, you know, finances are good. You know, most of us have families at that point, and we're more stable, and we're not some idiot 20-something anymore, that kind of thing. And I just wasn't expecting it. I guess. I don't know. That's the only explanation I can come up with. Okay, so I think I'm done. 2 hours later. Just for one hand. Doesn't take that long normally. I'm just, like I say, I'm in chill mode right now. Just having conversations and taking extra time too. I'm doing more than I would if I was actually doing them myself, which I should actually be doing the opposite. I should take more time when I'm off camera and less time when I'm on camera so that y'all can see how easy and quick it is. Anyway, y'all know what you see is what you get with me. All right, well, I am going to sign off here. I'll post pictures, but I'm going to call Greg and see what he thinks about this before I go to the trouble to go ahead and finish them out. And but it was nice hanging out. If you watch the replay, hashtag replay in the comments, or ask me any questions that you have. I'm glad to share info. I don't push you to order kits and nail dips and whatnot. I love it if you do, because that actually helps me with my fund money. And actually sometimes it helps do little things around the house too. But I'm mostly doing this just for fun. And I enjoy sharing with you guys. And I enjoy you hanging out with me and chatting. It's not all about trying to sell you nail dips and whatnot. It's just hanging out and chatting. I love to do that. You see, I'm sitting here talking and nobody's here anymore. But it doesn't matter because I can talk. Because I know somebody's going to see it later. So, hey, whoever you are, thanks for watching. Especially if you made it through this whole video. If you made it through this whole video, hashtag whole video below. I bet you nobody will. Because I'm so chatty. Thanks for hanging out.